conversation. Wait, listen for it. I'm gonna be in the mic. Who's talking? Oh man, you guys are good. Look, this is really cool because I'm standing behind a groom that actually wants to address the room. That doesn't happen. They like to be invisible. So, everybody, hold your conversation. Jeff's got control.
Well, I'm not sure he's right about that. But here I am. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. I want to first please thank my Aunt Kathleen for that wonderful ceremony. Now, this isn't the typical audience for my speaking engagements. There are people present here. But I understand this is a required activity. And I'm okay with that because this is a very special day. We've been very excited for a very long time. We hope you're enjoying this occasion as much as we are. All of this wouldn't be nearly as special without all you here. Now, Sally and I have also been a little bit nervous about today, but I keep telling myself that this is one of the few days where we're allowed to make a few mistakes. And so I'm saving mine for dancing. And as for Sally, the official position of this marriage is that Sally does not make mistakes.
I told you he's got this.
Now, I'm more than happy to share the attention with all the people who have gone above and beyond to make today possible. To everyone sitting next to us, hopefully you have an idea of how much you mean to both of us. Thank you very much. We would also like to thank Sally's family for being immensely kind and supportive. Her Aunt Twyla, Aunt Ann, and Aunt Pam have been the sounding board for many of the decisions we made for today. And her Aunt Susan spent countless hours altering Sally's dress. Yes, she did. Including today, on multiple occasions. And lastly, I'd like to thank my parents, who sometimes try to do too much to help me. But I've always been very grateful for them, and I love them very much. Today is really about sharing the most special day of our lives with the most important people. It's impossible to articulate all the little things that everyone has done to help us to get to where we are today. So I would like to propose a toast to all the people here for setting the example of love and support that Sally and I will try our best to offer each other throughout our marriage.
All right, everybody, keep it quiet. We need you to give Sarah and Rebecca your attention.
Hello, I'm Rebecca and this is Sarah. We are co-maid of honors this evening. As Sally's younger cousin, I have had the privilege of knowing her my entire life. And Sally only had to go 9 months without me. When Sally was little, her parents asked her if she wanted another sibling, and she enthusiastically told them no. I like to think it was because she already had the best siblings in her cousins. Growing up, we teased her like a sister, which included convincing her that the sandworms at the beach would eat her if she stepped on them. She was terrified to walk on sand for years before she learned the truth. Being so close not only benefited Sally by ensuring that she didn't grow up to be a spoiled only child, but it also benefited me as well. When Sally was too scared to go away to Girl Scout camp on her own, I was the one who got to go with her. At camp, we learned many life skills, like you should never trust 11-year-old girls to cook edible food over a campfire. When you're hiking downhill, you should always keep a pink elephant in front of you. And that the slime banana slugs generate makes your lips tingle. And as Sally's first kiss, it really set the bar pretty high. But in fact, our favorite part of camp was not kissing slugs, it was singing camp songs. We sang about how much happiness raisins gave us, and super California surfers, experts of the ocean. However, our favorite song was about an old duck rover from down in Montana, rounding up them duckies and driving them home. And as many of you can attest, we still know all the words to all 3 verses. We must have internalized the Western tang and embraced our own inner cowgirl when we went together to the University of Wyoming and joined the same sorority, finally officially becoming sisters. It was in Wyoming that we met my co-conspirator Sarah here, where she taught us everything we needed to know to brave the frozen tundra.
Like Rebecca said, Sally and I met in college when she basically lived on our dorm floor, even if only as an honorary member. I have had a lot of fun experiences with Sally, but one that certainly sticks out in my mind, and that does feature the frozen tundra. I don't know how many of you have been to Wyoming, but it does get pretty cold, and there tends to be a good amount of snow. So I do remember one Sunday evening after it had snowed all weekend, we all stole lunch trays out of the cafeteria and then went sledding on the hill nearby just because we could and because they've done it in Gilmore Girls. Sally's always ready to embark on a new adventure and have some fun. She faces things head on and with excitement, and I think that's the same way she's going to face this new chapter. Along with enjoying new things, Sally's also one of the kindest, most generous people that I know. She will consistently ask you what you want to do and put her needs second. As someone who is indecisive, that sometimes had Sally and I sitting around for a little while before we decided on something to do. But I do remember at some of these times we would end up baking cookies at my apartment because Sally didn't have access to a kitchen in the sorority. But when the cookies were baked, Sally would take 3 or 4 with her and then usually leave me with a few dozen to give away or occasionally eat on my own. And this is just the type of person that Sally is, and I'm so lucky to have met her. And now Sally is all grown up, and she has her own home with her own kitchen, and through Jeff and everyone else, she's met a lot of friends here in Seattle, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Jeff and Sally's life works out with their travel and their plan to get a dog. And I even hear Sally's going to learn how to cook meat.
Jeff, we are so excited to officially welcome you to our family. Congratulations to the happy couple, and oi with the poodles already.
All right, everybody, Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm Jeff's brother, and I want to say a few words about Sally and Jeff. Jeff and I are about a year or 2 apart. So that meant that growing up together, we were pretty close. Meant a lot of the same interests in sports. I remember us coordinating what Lego sets we were gonna get. So that I would get all the good guy Legos and he would get all the bad guy Legos. So thanks for being a good sport about that. Good job. And it was really great to grow up essentially with a best friend that lived with you. But beyond that, it was obvious even early that I also had a younger brother that really looked out for me. I remember one time in high school, Jeff thought to call home from school because he's worried that I would sleep through a final, which I would have. And he never said anything about that again. I have no clue why he had the motivation to do that. But there's two very Jeff things about that. One, him quietly looking out for the people that are close to him in his life. And two, nobody would be less impressed with themselves and their own psychic premonition that their brother was missing a final. And so Jeff is pretty tight-lipped. And so through most of our lives, I didn't really hear much about Jeff's dating or any girlfriends. But that didn't stop me from trying to guess, like, what would Jeff's perfect match look like? I was like, well, maybe she would be extroverted to, balance out his demeanor. Maybe she'd like all the same computer games and board games. So I know that when I was meeting someone that he was dating for the first time, that she must have been very special to him for his to share that part of his life with me. And I remember the first day I met Sally, it was on a Yakima River float. My inner tube deflated almost immediately. I ended up setting camp in Jeff and Sally's two-person raft. And it was the first time that I got to see the Jeff and Sally dynamic up close, firsthand. And it was a lot of like comfortable silence interspersed with Jeff uncorking an invisible grenade and throwing it in Sally. And then Jeff picking up the invisible grenade and throwing it back in Jeff. Those 3 hours of just playful uninhibition. And mind you, most girlfriends would be pretty put off that I had just crashed a love boat. But Sally was making sure that I was staying well hydrated, and I had plenty of snacks. And then it was later on in the night when Sally described Jeff to me. And she said, Jeff is like a cat. You can't sprint at him. You just have to let him come to you. And I remember thinking to myself, someone so relatively new in his life to sum up Jeff so perfectly and insightfully. All those years I tried to think of Jeff's perfect match. I didn't know what it was until I met Sally. And that's when I knew. And then over the next 5 years, I got to know Sally a little bit more. And I saw a lot of the qualities in her that I really admired in Jeff. She was really hardworking and kind and patient. She didn't take herself too seriously. She and Jeff struck me as kind of like a responsible and goofy powerhouse combination. And she very quickly became someone that I really looked up to along with my brother. And I got to see Jeff grow a lot too when he was with Sally. I saw him become a little more conscientious. I saw him open up like a little bit more. We definitely had more brother-to-brother, heart-to-hearts post-Sally than all the years pre-Sally combined. So, Sally, thanks for making a great Jeff an even greater Jeff. So, I cannot be more thrilled to accept you in our family, and I think you two are two really great people that really deserve each other, and I just wish you the best.
Everybody, raise your glasses. closing us out, the anchor man of the night. He's also our tallest toaster of the night. And he has the best beard of all of them. Take it away, Gabe.
Hi everybody, I'm Gabe. I'm one of the groomsmen. You know, as I was writing my speech tonight, I was trying to figure out why Jeff chose me out of all the other accomplished groomsmen to give this speech, and I think it's because a couple years back I used to like to make this joke that I was very excited to speak at his wedding because I would get up and I'd say, I'm going to tell you as much about Jeff as Jeff would want you to know about himself. And then I would just sit back down. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Jeff tonight. For those of you who know him a little bit, you know he's a very reserved person, but what you might not know is that he's incredibly thoughtful and sometimes a little bit mischievous. When I first met Jeff, we were volunteering together, teaching senior citizens how to use computers. We were just in a class together, and every day we'd walk into class and we'd write our names up so everyone knew who we were. And what Jeff would do is he would erase my last name, and instead of my last name, write something like Gabe Smells, or Gabe Sticks. And that's Jeff. You know, he kept on doing this stuff into college too. When we lived together for 2 years, and every once in a while when we were bored on a Tuesday night or something, Jeff would kind of get this little twinkle in his eye and walk into JP's room, which was on the second floor, and just hoist up JP's mattress, take it out of the room, and just chuck it down the stairs. And as JP was trying to push the mattress back up the stairs, Jeff would take the rest of the linens, the pillows and the sheets, and just toss it down at JP. And that's what Jeff will do when he really likes to and trusts you. But at the same time, this is the same Jeff who, for the 2 years that we lived together, he let us believe that boys' college bathrooms were spotless. I don't think I cleaned the bathroom once. I talked to Lars. Lars didn't clean the bathroom. But for some reason, our bathroom was always clean. And the reason is because every time we'd look kind of out of the corner of our eye, we'd see Jeff just kind of like scrubbing the toilets. Or, you know, doing something else. And none of us ever thought about it. And, you know, Jeff didn't tell us because we didn't need to know, because that's Jeff. Jeff operates on a need-to-know basis, and if we don't need to know, then he's not going to tell us anything. Which is just great. But that's also how we knew that Sally was someone that was very special to him. Because when we met her, he was telling us that this is someone that we need to know about. That this is someone that is incredibly special and we should, you know, learn to love, and we have. And I think, Sally, the best thing about you is that you help counteract that need-to-know mentality just a little bit. As an example, you know, when Jeff and Sally first got engaged, Sally was the one who told us the little things, like that they were engaged. You know, where the wedding venue was at, and the day, and things like that. But, you know, the thing that I love the most about Jeff and Sally is the stuff that I know I don't see as much, the stuff that I catch out of the corner of my eye. You know, I see it the most when, you know, after a long night and everyone's going to bed, and Jeff and Sally have obviously helped clean up. You know, everyone kind of pairs off and goes off the corners, and Jeff and Sally are just kind of sitting there, and they might be making a little bit of mischief together. It might be like knocking a balloon back and forth at each other, or they've got this cute little game where they, you know, like Chris was saying, they turn their hands into pistols and kind of chase each other around the house. And when I see something like that, I just smile, because you know you're witnessing just this like magical relationship, and it's absolutely beautiful. So a toast to Jeff for being one of the kindest, silliest people that I know, to Sally for being just absolutely wonderful, and to the happy couple, you guys are going to be just wonderful together. Okay, so many happy years.
All right, nobody leave. We've got dessert and dancing up next, so stick around.